Well, shaking, folks. Back with another reaction. Back with some more Iron Maiden. We're going back to their 2003? Hold on, let me look real quick. Yeah, it's 2003. The 2003 album, Dance of Death. I think I've only done one or two songs from this. Very much enjoyed this album. I've mentioned it before. In the last few years, I've gone on this Iron Maiden journey after, I think it was about 2016 or 2017 when I was talking to an old friend of mine. He sort of reminded me that Iron Maiden's lyrics are about, philosophy and literature and history and sort of world religions and so on. And it sort of piqued my interest, and so I just said, you know what, I'm going to go on this deep dive on the Bruce Dickinson version of the band. So I bought every album. I started with Number of the Beast, and I enjoyed that so much I got Peace of Mind, and the rest is history. But it's interesting, I've spent more time listening to the albums up to about Brave New World. And just because I was sort of really letting the albums soak in as I was listening to them over weeks and months and the last few years, I have spent a lot more time listening to the first 5 or 6 Bruce albums than the ones after. So I do know this album, I have listened to it, but I don't know it nearly as well as, say, Number of the Beast or Peace of Mind or Power Slave or Somewhere in Time. So ultimately I know this album, but perhaps not as well as some of the earlier ones. But yeah, we're going to listen to the opening tune on the album, which is called Wildest Dreams. Very much enjoy this track. It's a faster song, one of their sort of more up-tempo numbers, and I do think it's one of those songs that both going back to the early 80s, the first albums that I'm familiar with. I know there were a couple before with, Paul Di'Anno? Is that how you say it? But yeah, I don't really know that version of the band, full respect to that, but I just sort of to me, Bruce Dickinson is part of what Iron Maiden is in my mind, so that's just why I've chosen to focus on that version of the band. Regardless, a lot of their songs going back to the 80s and even into more recent years, they'll have this sort of up-tempo feel where parts of it feel almost kind of like thrashy punk rock a little bit. Not exactly punk rock, but in a way sort of the tempo and sort of the feel of some of the guitar work reminds me of thrashier punk rock. This one kind of has a bit of that feel. And then lyrically, I think it is sort of a carpe diem tune. I think it's a tune where the narrator is saying that when I'm really down and low, I just remind myself that, I can be whatever I feel I want to be, and I just have to kind of get out there and do it. So it's a song about activating yourself. It's a song about not letting yourself ossify or sink into depression or sort of an ambivalence in life, but rather just to keep reminding yourself that if you want to achieve something, if you want to become something, you just kind of have to get out there and do it. You just have to put in the work, and that means seizing the time you have, seizing the day. So that's where I sort of took the lyrics. As I always say on this channel, my lyrical interpretations are not definitive or authoritative in any way. And, as I always say also, lyrics are sort of an interaction between artist and listener, because even if the artist has very specific meanings and sources of inspiration for particular lines in a song, the way those lines will hit another person's brain is ultimately filtered through the prism of what's going on in their life and their experiences and their understandings. So there's always sort of an interaction when it comes to lyrics. So do let me know if you have a different take, or at least a take that's more specific in some ways. I'd love to hear it. Other than that, let's get to it. This is Wildest Dreams by Iron Maiden on their 2003 album, Dance of Death.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3,
I'm going to exercise the demons of my past. I'm going to cast that off. I'm looking this way, not that way. Yeah. I love that little riff. gets a bit of rasp and edge in it. Away from the quagmire, don't get stuck. I love how like tight and dissonant that was. Shout out to McBrain. And the bass too. Shout out to Mr. Harris. So it's like the same chorus, but that like one guitar line is like riding higher and sharper than before. Brilliant. I love it. As I said, I've listened to this album a little bit, enough to sort of remember, the sort of content of some of the songs, but I'm going to start going through some of their post-Brave New World albums in a little bit more detail, because I think most of them I've done maybe one or two songs from, and that's it. Whereas some of the earlier stuff, like Number of the Beast, like Caught Somewhere in Time, I think I've done at least like half the album, if not more, so... I'm going to start concentrating on some of their more recent albums. If there's a song that I haven't done yet, please do shout it out, if one that you'd like to see a reaction to. Like I said, I have every studio album that Bruce is on, so even if it's not one of the more recent ones, if it is a song that I haven't reacted to yet, just check my Iron Maiden playlist. There's a playlist specifically dedicated to Iron Maiden reactions. So yeah, check there, but if I haven't already done it, just shout it out. Love to take any further Iron Maiden requests. Other than that, thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.